for Vendetta. Have you seen the movie V for Vendetta? I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're in Zion right now, like in the Matrix. And the machines are tunneling in to come and get us. But all of these, you know, the fight for clean water, that's a noble fight. That's going on there right now. People, the poorest people in this country are risking their liberty, their reputations, their livelihoods, risking my law license. They're risking, even up to their lives. People have been maimed out there. I don't know if you recall Sophia Wolanski, 21-year-old. I don't even like to use the term white woman, but she's European or something, Caucasian or German or Norwegian, or because white people and black people and Indian people, those are all just like synthetic terms of convenience. I don't mean anything by them when I use those terms. But she is coming from the demographic of people that she looks like North Dakotans. You know what I mean? They blew her freaking arm up. They launched a concussion grenade right at her, point blank, and it blew up right by her arm. If you see the pictures online, I mean, it's blown up for real. It's like there's bone and tendons and everything. And the Morton County Police Department sent a press release to the local media and said that we did not use any type of explosives the night of November 20th. I was there that night. I was driving and I saw somebody live feeding and it was going down, so I went right to the front line to document it, you know, for our media organization. And there was definitely explosions that night. But Morton County was able to send a press release to the local media, and they put it out as true that you know, we didn't use any explosives that night. Luckily, you know, people have video evidence that refutes those claims. And indeed, Sophia Wolanski's arm is refuting those claims. Another lady, they call her Susie, can't remember her real name, but she was shot at point blank range with a less lethal round. And those rounds in cold weather become lethal, more dangerous. But she was shot in the eye. They didn't shoot her with the round, they shot her with a tear gas canister. They shot it at her and it hit her eye. And she ended up losing her eyesight over that. A good friend of mine was hit with a less lethal round in his leg, and it caused a hole probably the size of between a nickel and a quarter and about at least an inch deep. And so there's just with over 700 people being arrested. And that same night, do you guys remember seeing those water cannons being deployed? If you've seen the live feed of those, that was November 20th. That was the night of November 20th. And it was, I believe it was 25 degrees, 7 degrees, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, below the freezing temperature. And just, a month or two before this water cannon incident, they had charged water protectors with felony reckless endangerment for putting other people's lives at risk because they were chaining themselves to bulldozers and other heavy equipment. They were claiming that the policemen who had to go up onto the equipment to saw them off, their lives were then put recklessly in danger. It's completely, it's ludicrous. But that night, when, in my eyes, Morton County, and if there are any National Guard out there, and right now there's highly militarized force out there right now, they sprayed indiscriminately anybody who was on the bridge. I got sprayed. Everybody got sprayed who was up there. But they put out another statement saying, we only sprayed water to put out fires that the protesters had started. And luckily, again, we had video evidence to refute those claims. Because you got to realize North Dakota is a different animal. It's just like Mississippi of the North. South Dakota is like that too. But it's a place that is like where Indian people and white people are two distinct groups, and one has been made to live a subservient and second-class lifestyle. And the group that is living like that is now comfortable with that. And it's easy to see how that happens because you grow up in an imposed poverty environment where you don't provide for yourself, you don't own the businesses, you don't see people who look like you as heroes. And they're good people on both sides, but this is the dynamic since pioneers were out there. And so there's a very real racism that permeates that area, the Northern Plains. It's not diverse like Seattle or LA or any diverse metro area. It wasn't until I went and lived in Denver that I even stepped outside of my own complexes of being raised around just a bunch of brown people, a bunch of native people. But the socio environment is just different out there. So out there are certain bodies, the North Dakota Law Enforcement, Warren County, the National Guard, the media organizations, local, the governor, and the very anti-progressive led legislature, the entire state legislature, are colluding with each other to control the narrative and to dominate the perception. It's a PR war. Because we're not using guns in this one. In 1973 we used guns. We exchanged 10,000 rounds of gunfire with the United States Marshals, with the FBI, with whoever was on the other side of those lines in Wounded Knee in 1973. I mean, my whole family was there. My mom, my dad, everybody. All my uncles. I mean, but this time around, it's different. Like, we don't, as a strategic matter, we have to be committed to nonviolence, unarmed nonviolence, and peace. But being committed to peace doesn't mean that you're committed to being passive. It actually means that you're not willing to back down because you have the moral and spiritual authority, and that your cause is righteous. But you're going to get into some arguments about who defines what righteous is. Just like we're going to get into arguments about who defines what a traitor is, what a patriot is, or what a terrorist is. Like we're going to have that discussion in America, like stacked. I can see it coming, and it's already causing. I said last night in my talk, look, they're charging me with inciting a riot, but Trump is inciting violence. The nation over, the globe over. And so we're going to have to dig deep. But right now, I just want to give you some quick comments and to let you know that, the easement was denied to drill under the water, under the river in December 4th. And everybody declared that a victory. We were meant to believe it was a victory. Everybody was asked to go home. Your prayers have been answered. We're not going to drill under the water. You guys just go home now. These are words coming from our tribal government. And everybody on the ground was like, but wait a minute, Trump is going to take office. Like in less, you know what I mean? In 50 days, literally, Trump is going to be our head of state. And he can direct his army secretary to grant that permission to drill under the water. And he did. He directed his secretary of army to drill under the water. The camps, the contested camp is north of the Cannonball River. That camp is in a treaty territory where we haven't been since 1889, since that land was illegally annexed, the land north of the river. So we're north of the river. We're in a place that we're not supposed to be. Like Indians are supposed to fit inside this domestic dependent nationhood. Indian reservation, you guys are supposed to stay there and be poor and just, die a slow genocide there. Because of the legal, economic, and political oppression that is very real. And if you want to learn about that, you can certainly go on a journey and learn about that. That's kind of what my life is about. I don't like to call for pity or to present the narrative of victimhood, because we're not that. We're actually the victors who are trying to risk everything to protect these commons, these constitutional rights, the source of every American's sovereignty and their rights. And so in that sense, like maybe I engage in some hyperbole, but we're patriots. Those of us who believe in that, in those sources of authority, who really understand that, the contempt to govern and all that stuff, we're patriots. We're trying to protect civil liberties. And that fight is going down right now. Right now there's contingents of United States veterans who are going out to the site of construction, because that camp that's in the contested area, I got a letter in the mail from the Department of the Army Corps of Engineers. Sent me like a personal letter, Chase Ironman's P.O. Box 888, 48 North Dakota. And I actually have it on me. And it says, we are going to essentially remove all unauthorized structures pursuant to, the Code of Federal Regulation that governs the activities of the Army Corps. We're going to remove all personal property. They list everything in every euphemistic way, except they don't say human beings. But if you saw the live feeds of October 27th, you know that these guys rolled in deep with a lot of military vehicles. They look like they're going into Iraq. It happened up here in the Battle of Seattle. It happened during the Occupy movement. It happened in Ferguson. Now we see, Now we see this highly militarized police state. And so that's set to happen on February 23rd. A lot of vets are coming out to fight that fight and to make sure that people are safe. And that's been the messaging this whole time. And then the last part, so you have water, you have Native nations, they're treaty authorities, the right to be free from in oppression that includes, an inability to prosecute non-Indians and inability to collect all the taxes that are spent on reservations, the ability to govern totally the hunting, fishing, and other activities on the reservation. It's too much to go into. You gotta go to law school to understand all that stuff, or read something on it. But there is we are almost being held captive by this body of law that is the federal Indian law. So it's water in that fight, and the fight for the Constitution, the fight against tyranny right now, and the fight for a clean energy economy or a just transition to that economy, because of the stand that's being taken against big extraction, big oil, and big finance. We are wanting to create a new economic reality. So all of those broad scope issues kind of form this intersection and this struggle there. And it's, you can definitely feel it, because they've been drilling and they might be done drilling. So the focus of the fight may change, and that's when things like defund DAPL or the injustice boycott, what we do with our currency, our money, within the confines of this system, this economic system. I don't even know. The words, maybe neoclassical economics. The kind of economics that we live in, where debt, currency, and finance kind of they run the show. But we're definitely, we're all going to be brought together in these struggles. You can see it happening. You can see what Trump's doing. And Trump is actually uniting us, even though it's scary as hell, and it shakes you. But look what happened here. In a matter of, I don't know how long it took to mobilize people to get to CTAC, to protect the constitutional and human rights of our fellow humans, members of the human family. That's what we're going to have to try harder and harder to humanize each other, because all those demographics are at risk. Whether that's black lives or people who are considered immigrants, Muslims, all women, women's rights, the feminist movement. Everybody who doesn't fit within, maybe that Western heteropatriarchy or the corporate personhood that is allowed to kind of run the day, we're all going to have to stand up. But I just wanted to give that much about, I know there was hardly any structure to what I just did there. But, I've been on the ground out there for a while. I'm facing felony charges. It's heavy times out there, but it's all worth it. I only get to be here for a short period of time, but I want to thank Brother Edwin, Marissa, people who have organized this gathering here today, and anybody that came out to last night's gathering. I mean, I always say Seattle is the work of the wokest city in the U.S., and there's a good reason for that. And like these are really battleground cities that we have to come together. We have to stand up, because just like people are looking to Standing Rock to kind of like, that's our spiritual compass. Like we're looking there for inspiration. We're looking there to be emboldened to stand up for our struggles, whatever they are. The entire country is going to be looking to Seattle. I guarantee you, the entire country is going to be looking to California, certain places in California. Any progressive woke place is going to have to shoulder the responsibility of carrying that burden and standing in our own peace and dignity. But I just want to open it up for questions after having said that much. Yeah.
Hey, thank you for coming and giving us your time. I was in Standing Rock in the afternoon of when October 27th, when a lot of bad stuff happened. And I was amazed with the harmony within the camp and how well everyone worked together. We were there for a week. I had some Blackfeet family there, and I came with my cousins, everyone's cousins. And I was wondering how the unity and harmony is within the camps now, because we get mixed messages about what's going on, and I just wondered, since you're there, how you feel things are going and how the leadership is within the camp?
Yeah, but after December 4th, when that victory, that hollow and meaningless victory was declared, the kind of the air of authority rested with the Standing Rock Nation, or the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. And when they left the fight, the ground fight, they still pursued the legal and maybe the political fight, but they're definitely in the legal fight. It kind of turned into Lord of the Flies there for a little bit. But we were on the ground, Edmund was on the ground, and we had to figure out how to create at least a modicum of respect for each other, of unity, and we were able to do it. It just took some time. And so people are united there. It's just that, like I was saying before, we don't come from these higher countries. We don't come from monarchs. We don't. That's not to say that there wasn't native monarchs in Central America, South America, whatever. But like around here, we don't. Like each person is sovereign and autonomous unto their own. And so, and you can see that out there on the ground. Like, I can't tell anybody what to do. If I'm doing something and they think that it's a good idea, and they'll support it. Same thing with me. If I see somebody doing something good, I'll support that. So we were able to break through that. And I think we salvaged enough of it to present to the world that we are united. We want this militarized roadblock gone, and we want the pipeline. We just had to focus on the least common denominator, the thing that we agreed upon, because North Dakota media is definitely trying to paint the picture that we're divided. But we have a working unity.
came here fleeing that destruction of the commons area, and came here, and to be doing that all over again. But my question is, one of the places it seems to me that's the worst is in, not to call anybody out, but the privatization of water and selling water in the same way we divest from Wells Fargo and Chase. Do you think it's a good idea to divest and refuse to participate in buying water from Nestle, buying water in bottles at all? Because those bottles are made from that oil. And insofar as we can in the city, like if you're somewhere where you can't get it, then you can't get it. But for me, that's a big part of the divestment is don't buy that fucking lie that you have to,
Yeah.
you know, not calling you out, but just in general. In general, I'm old enough. When I was a kid, we used to joke about, oh, one day they're going to sell us water, ha ha ha, and one day they'll sell us air. It's a big joke. You know, I'm that old.
Yeah.
And then I see people and it's like, man, you're an environmentalist. What are you doing? You know? Yeah. But it's one of the things that Nestle, right, is pumping water from Mount Shasta. They got it from, and did it all through the drought in California. So anyway, that's just my question. Is that
Yeah.
part of the divestment to you?
Well, I think it's good. It's a good question. It seemed like the pitchfork came out there. But, no, we heard that through our ceremonies too. I remember my mom, as a little kid, and she said, the Spirit said that you're going to have to buy water one day. And everybody laughed. And this was 1990 or 89. I remember being a little, like maybe I was 11 years old or something. I remember that. I remember like these old traditional ceremonies. And anyway, divestment has to be coupled with positive, effective action. But what we have to understand is that the institutions of law, economy, and policy are designed to favor certain, big extraction, carbon extraction is subsidized. That's the real corporate welfare. And so when we have cities like Seattle, or we have even tribal nations, somebody somewhere has to create the environment that espouses, just for instance, just one thing. Like if this was all hemp, that would be awesome. And it's crazy that it's not. If you think of everything that Petro touches, they are creating the economic reality that we are forced to live in, that we are forced to trade our labor to receive the currency that they don't even have a backing for it anymore. They're just creating it out of fiat currency. But it's so big that I don't understand it all. I'm not the guru. You know what I mean? But I see certain things and I'm like, why can't we just have just one thing? Just plastics. Why can't that come from hemp? Like what's stopping that? Something is stopping it somewhere. Yeah.
If I could jump in, because your question, hi everyone, it's a question of strategy, right, and organizing. And one thing that I've learned throughout my organizing is that we can never move faster than the people.
Right.
And it happens leaders that try to move faster than the people are up there by themselves. But when the people here in this instance decided Wells Fargo is the target, I've heard from people, oh, that's a terrible strategy, you should have gone after Bank of America, or you should have gone after... The best strategy is the one that works. And if people say, this is the one I'm going to go after, then we move with the people. And if we can prove to Wells Fargo and this entire economic system that we can bring a multinational corporation to its knees, then everyone else along the line is going to be scared for their lives. And so we can focus like a needle, right, and just puncture it. It lets the air out. But sometimes what happens is we try to grab all of it at the same time, and we get tired of it.
My name is Annette Black Bear. I'm from the Dakota Oyate, from Andrew, South Dakota. That's why I grew up in humble ways when we were growing up. But I do have relatives over there in Fort Hicks that are buried over there on my grandfather's side. And so today I want to thank Wopila Kanka Chicha. Thank you. Kopi Krishni, Chasha India, and Khan. translation, Etkia, or Lakota Etkia, it means fearless man. You have nothing to fear in life. I come from the ceremonial race. My life is more, I used to be with American Indian movement back in the 70s. I was in Wounded Knee at the age of 19, where I learned how to fight with the government. I stood with the gun to defend my people at that time. But back in the 80s, my life changed. Something spiritual happened to me. So I changed my ways. I'm more into prayer now with the ceremonies, because it was given to me through a dream and through ceremonies for the future generations to come. And I'm thankful for all of you here today. You're all young people. You're in the seventh generation now. In our prophecies, it was told a long time ago that this black snake was going to come across the land, through our land. And it's here now. And that black snake is Donald Trump. That's it. I was foretold. There's a lot of corruption in this country now. Donald Trump is the Zuzeja son, black snake. It's ruling this country and all nations right now. There's so much I want to tell you. And I want to thank all the leaders of the nations that came forward, all tribes. I've been to the front lines there, Standing Rock. But I wasn't afraid of the law. I was not afraid of the man-made laws. My grandfather kind of told us, these are man-made laws. United States government. We have a natural law, which is to protect Mother Earth, protect our way of life. That is the law, the supreme law. That's what Grandpa Footscrow told us one time. And all the other chiefs. I come of the descendant of Chief Redcliffe. Was in my relatives a long time ago. They foretold this day that was going to come, and it's happening now. Here in the cities, some of you have degrees. Some of you are going to get your degrees. I'm happy about that. The law. We have a natural law with the native people. That's all we're asking for protection. The Minnetonka pipelines that are running through this country. It's going to affect a lot of people. Vulnerable race. We're not going to have clean water anymore. Water. So I want to thank you, teachers. Porque la linda Kanka. I speak my language fluently. That was my first language. I didn't know how to speak English. I had to learn. I'm still learning. I'm 64 years old now. I'm just happy that everybody's here today to see the young people. Is there some way you can help as the creator for that strength for each and every one? Tira Maya, Lila. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. One of my friends went to Standing Rock last time. He's a Marine, and many of them are getting ready to go. So for myself, I have injuries that I can't go. I just would like to hear from you, if you don't mind. What if anything was asked of veterans, or are they kind of moving more autonomously? My understanding is it's from the people, but I just would like to know, because
because all I can do really is pray
Yeah.
for all of the people involved. You know, they want to just put their bodies between the police and the people.
So they, that's what's going on, is veterans are coming out, and it creates this explosive visual. It really cuts the heart of who declares what law and order is, because the law and order that's being upheld out there is requiring the oppression at gunpoint. A certain group of people is being made to bear a risk that another group of people is not being made to bear and will not be made to bear. If you are violating the Constitution, who says who is the violator there? The traitor or the patriot there? And I think that's why on December 4th, the leadership of that veterans movement was co-opted, and they were completely, they were disorganized in a deliberate way to prevent them from going to the front line and facing off with armed, uniformed officers and agents of the United States military, while they were unarmed and uniformed agents and officers of past of the United States military. That's just that looks too explosive. And so this time around, you have the chairman, who is under a tremendous amount of pressure because of, a long time ago they had this thing called sign or starve, where if we didn't sign the document of the thing that the government wanted us to sign, to give away land or to cede more land or whatever it was, they would just withhold our rations. And at that time, they had caused an economic destruction and economic disempowerment. So they literally controlled the rations that came in, the flour, the cattle, the sugar, the coffee, all of that. So they would just cut them off and be like, your kids are going to starve now until you sign this thing. Well, now they've got a roadblock that cuts off the flow of revenue into our casino, which represents all of the tribal government's discretionary funds. And so you have the chairman who's under that pressure from his own people who are impoverished, who are leaning on him, saying, get that road open. And so what they're doing is they're redirecting their blame and animosity to the very people they invited, and saying, we want you to leave. All water protectors want to leave. What that does is create this confusion. Well, look at the chief is saying, don't come. And then you have Chase Iron Eyes and LaDonna Brave Bull Allard and other people on the ground who are from Standing Rock saying, please come, because they're going to raid us.